What's up, traders? Coming in part 3 of the DOS tutorials, we're going to be talking about those charts. So let's get to it. All right, traders, so we're going to go ahead and start rolling through a lot of the stuff here to do with the charts. When you first open up a new chart, this is most likely what it's going to look like, and this is where we're going to start. So one of the first things that we obviously notice on our charts is the candles. If we want to scroll in a little bit, we can do that. But real quick, a shortcut, because I'm about to use it. If you hold down the shift button and then drag your mouse, you'll be able to highlight a specific portion of the chart. I get asked that one a lot, and that's always a cool one to know. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to right click and go into chart area and then config area. This is one of the more important areas that we're going to have to deal with as far as kind of customizing the charts for the most part. So starting up in the top left, this show ruler, that is this specific ruler right here with the time. I'll just go ahead and show you. If you unclick that and hit commit, you'll see the ruler above the time, like all those little dashes are now gone. So if we go back and we'll go ahead and add that back real quick, you'll see what I'm talking about. And really, I get rid of that on my charts because I don't really see the use for it, and it just makes it a little bit cleaner looking. And yeah, so again, a lot of this is very customizable and very much preference. So show study info, this is going to be all of your studies that you have on the chart. If you have any, your previous close line, that's just going to put a line at the previous close from the previous trading day. And again, a lot of these are very customizable and preference. You're going to hear me say that a lot. One of the main things I like to change on all of my charts is I will put show trades and show orders. I highlight these. You can change the size of the triangles that are on there. You can change the colors. You can change pretty much everything. If you want your buy order line color to be green instead of blue by default, you can. If you want to change the triangle color from when you're actually in a trade to blue instead of green, or orange, yellow, pink, you name it, whatever. You can even make you can even do a custom color. You can make it some crazy like pink, salmon, whatever you want to call that. You can make them whatever you want. So that's kind of what we do in here. You can also make them a little bit transparent if you want. 100% transparency, as in disappeared, would be this way. 0% is this way. And so if you kind of want it to be kind of halfway so you can see your candles through your orders, that would be where you would do that. And yeah, show last sale price line is one of the key things that you'll see me use. So if the current price is at 365.10, let's see if it actually, let's go over there real quick and see. Since it is highlighted, it should be there. But I guess maybe because we're not in market hours right now, it won't show that. But this white dotted line, as you can see, is the previous close line. So if let's just do this as a little bit of shortcut. So on the left side of the chart, and this is a lot of this is gonna be me just rolling through and kind of seeing things and telling you what they are. But you'll see that my arrow changes to a weird looking arrow right as you get towards the edge of the chart. And it is a little finicky, but this is basically the zoom out button. So if you ever want to zoom out and keep zooming out to like previous days, this is how you would do it. So we're on the 1 minute now. Let's go to say the 15 minute so that we can see the previous day. And actually, to help make this look a little bit easier, we're going to right click and go to configure, and we're going to put show different background for color and pre-post market hours. So what that's going to do, and again, you can change these colors, but it's going to show you where the pre-market and post-market is, as well as the intraday hours. So let's say we just want to see the last 2 days. We'll scroll into that, and as you can see, so the last day where it closed was actually yesterday, or well, Friday, because today is Sunday, and that's where it put the line, right? So 366.30. And so when we open up on Monday, this line will remain here throughout the day, showing you and signifying that it was the last day's close. So let's go back to the chart area config. So show last sale price. So basically what that is saying is if we go all the way to the right, and we'll see what the last price was. Zoom back in here. It was at, let's see if we can scroll this over. So it looks like we closed at 366.10. So if the line was currently bidding and we had the last price at 366.10, there would be a line sitting there, and let's say it moved up to 366.20, that line would move with it. So every time you have a last price, that is exactly what that line is going to show. So it's going to move every time there's a new price that comes through on the time and sales. that line is going to move with it. And if anybody who follows me knows that I use that because I play parabolic moves, I'm looking for that line to go really, really fast, and then I'm looking for it to start to stutter, and then that's usually where I look to start a position short. So let's right click, go back to chart area, config area, and I think that's about it. Actually, I'm sorry, show last sale price. That is what is going to be over here, but to actually get the line, this is the one that you would click. So let's actually hit commit there and see if it shows up. It did not. Let me make sure I did that right, because it should be there. Color, let's maybe make it a little width. No? Okay, so maybe because we're not actually trading at the moment, there's no live data, it's not going to show us that last price line. But that's where it would show up. It would show up at the last price, and right now it would be a yellow line. And again, if we just go to the config area, that's where you would get that line. Show last sale price, that's just going to be on the numeral column over here, and it will just have a little box with the pricing. You can change that as well. Everything is very customizable. You can change the colors of pretty much everything. So real quick, let's go back to configure, and you'll see the background color. I have mine, I think, to like this off gray for my pre-market, and yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure I even changed the transparency just a little bit more than that. Let's go down a little bit more. So yeah, you can see it becomes a little bit more transparent the more you go to the right side of that bar. And I just like the idea of knowing that what I'm looking at, like when I'm looking at the 2 minute, if we scroll out, let's do our little shortcut that we just learned about. And you can just tell, you can be like, okay, well, there's the bell, right? I don't have to look down here, look for 930, because I can just look for that line, right? It's a little bit easier for me to see. So if we go on the right click configure, we'll do this as well. If you want to add some horizontal and vertical grid lines, that's that. I usually keep the horizontal lines on mine, not the vertical, because this way, again, I can have a very quick reference guide to where the price currently is. So if I look right and I don't have these lines on the chart, it's a little bit harder for me to see. Like if I wanted, I mean, I could obviously draw a line here, 365.92, but if we get rid of this line and I have these horizontal grid lines on, I can always just give a quick look over and follow that line, and it'll give it to me, right? So it's just something that I like to have on my charts. It's a little bit easier to read everything when looking for where the price is currently, because you could easily, without the horizontal grid lines on, you could very well easily think that this is like 365.80, like just going left or right, but in reality it was 365.90. So that could matter for some people. So we'll leave that on. I'm going to actually start to modify this as if it were my own chart, and we'll just kind of go from there. So I would have this on. I think mine is just this orange. I like the color orange. So I have show trade, show orders on. I believe I have this changed to either 2 or 3. I do have the ruler off. Show label I also have on, because as you can see, that gets rid of that. It just labels the actual chart. So that's something I like to keep on, because, you know, obviously I always like to know what time it is just looking down at the chart. And yeah, I think I also usually take off I don't have on the show last, or not that one, show previous close. And yeah, so there we go. All right, so the next thing, as you can see up here in the left-hand corner, this is kind of a tidbit. Actually, you guys can't see that. Why can't you see that? All right, so the next thing you'll see is up here in the left-hand corner. Sorry for that cut, but I didn't have the full chart in the picture, so now we do. And actually, let me get rid of that so it doesn't confuse me. So to do that, you're going to go into study config, and you're going to have to do this for each and every study that you have on the chart. But basically, when you have all your studies, again, if you guys want to know how to do studies, just right click, go to study config, and you can come in here and add any of these. All you do is just click on it. If you want to add some moving averages, you can go ahead and just add 2 moving averages over here. Say you like the 9 and the 20. You would just, and how I did that, you just, once it's over here, you double click it. 9. You can change it to whatever color you want. Let's just do yellow, and then we'll do the 20. I know a lot of people like this, 9, 20, and we'll make this one, let's do a blue, and we'll hit commit, and you'll see our moving averages. But what you also see is it comes up here in the upper left hand corner. So for me, I honestly just I don't like seeing that. I like clean charts. I like to keep them as clean as possible. So in order to get rid of that, just go to the specific study that is up in the upper left-hand corner, hit on config EX, and then it'll say display study info on top left. Just unclick it, and there you go. And also, if you want it to, like right now, because we're not live right now, no market data feed, As you can see, this include and scale. So the current price of the 9 looks like it'd be around 366.10. It would actually have a box over here that is blue that says 366.10. If you don't want that to be there, this is where you would unclick that, and that would not be there. I like it over there. For whatever studies I do have on, say VWAP and the 9 are usually just the two I have up. And it will tell me, like, at any time, like say VWAP's way down here, it'll say it's at 365.30. I don't have to like go hover over the line or kind of guesstimate where it is. It'll just tell me exactly where it's at, which is nice. So I always keep that on the include and scale, and I get rid of the display study in left top. And as you can see, if we commit, it got rid of that one. So if we go back to the other ones and do the same exact thing, just really quick, then boom. There you go. So now it's a little bit more clean. Now, to mess with the volume, as you can see, these are like purple and blue. You would actually have to, this is actually two separate, as you can see, you can kind of move this, or it's actually not letting me move it, but you got to right click down in the volume bar area itself and hit study config. It's almost like a chart within a chart. I'm not exactly sure how they have it linked. Oh, there it goes. I just wasn't clicking it right. But as you can see, you can make the volume area bigger than the chart. But this is basically two charts within one another with just two totally different sets of studies on it. So instead of having the candle and the candles and the moving averages up top, it is just the volume. So if you really wanted to, you could come up here, you could find volume and you could add it, and it will actually put it up here. However you end up setting it up, and you wouldn't even need this bottom part. So if like you're tight on screen space, that is something that you could do. That's because I have it set as area. Let's do by bar, commit. And again, if I go too fast on anything, or I decide, you just have questions on something I might have missed or glanced over, feel free to ask down in the comment section below. You guys know that I will go ahead and answer that. So the other cool thing too is you can have these volume bars split. If we go into that real quick, since I just noticed it, you'll see the up color and the down color, as well as you would have to check this down here, this display up and down color. So what that's doing is it's taking the volume on each bar and it's telling you how much volume was on the downside and how much was on the upside, like how much was on the bid and how much was on the ask. So every single candle, you can see that as we were pretty much going up here, as we're in an upswing, it would be more green than red, obviously, right? And as we're coming down, you'll see that it's more red than green. So really that's kind of self-explanatory, but it is a cool little feature. I don't use it myself. I just make the volume bars all one color. But again, personal preference. We're actually going to get rid of that because we don't put it on one chart. We actually keep it the way that it is. And we're going to go down to the volume area. We're going to right click, go to study config. Now we're going to go into the config for the volume. And what I like to do is I actually change just both of these to orange. And I actually use a custom color orange, but obviously for time sense, we're gonna go ahead and just leave it the way that it is. So for some reason it did not change that, maybe because of the borderline there. There we go. So the borderline is basically saying if you want to put a border around it, but you'd have to like really zoom in to actually get a border around the color that you're using. And obviously since we're a little bit zoomed out, that's why it just stays the way that it is. Again, right click configure. You can change all of this, guys. You can change like these axis line colors. You can see it's the green, the study name price. It's all up to you. You can change the font. You can change the size of it. You can change anything and everything. Just right click and go into configure. Another cool feature that I really like is the axis margins. So if we put 0 here instead of 3%, you'll see that it's taking the price that is highest and making that the top. But if you go back to configure and say we make this 10%, you're going to see it move down. It's going to give us 10% of that chart as a cushion to the top side. And it's the same for the y-axis as well. Right now it's set to 0, so it's all the way to the right, where if we put in a 10 there, you'll see it gives us a little cushion. And I actually like a little bit more. I think mine's set around like 30. Yeah, so it gives me that little bit of space to the right. It's a little thing, but it's something that I like. I like being able to have that because, I don't know, it maybe allows me to visualize what's coming a little bit, where if it's like right up next to the price, for me, it's just something that I don't know. It's just something that I like, and it's something that you can mess with. I'm actually pretty sure that's my exact settings. I think it's 3010. If you want a crosshair, you can actually check this. And as you, actually, I guess that didn't work. Let's see, draw crosshair. Maybe because it's, no, it should. Let's just change it to some weird colors just to see if I did something wrong here. Line style, okay. No, it's not. I wonder why it's not. Maybe color orange. That shouldn't have anything to do with it. That's interesting. Usually, maybe I'm missing something here. Crosshair. Display trend line, right click. Yeah, I'm actually not exactly sure why this isn't working. Maybe because we're not live, but it shouldn't be. Interesting. Yeah, that I don't know. I'll have to get back to you guys on that one, but this is where you should be able to click this, and as you're just hovering over the chart, it should draw a cross line. Maybe it's one of the ones that you have to reload DOS in order to make it work, but unfortunately that's not working for me right now. But that is what that is. So it would just give you that, you know, the X, and it'll kind of follow you around. If that's something that you like, you can do that as well. Market open, market close, day separator line. These are all pretty cool lines. I have these on my chart as well. You don't necessarily need them if you have the separated shaded areas like I do as well. But again, it is just another way for you to be able to see the separation, which is pretty cool. You can actually use your mouse wheel to scroll in and out instead of left or right. By default, it is set to zoom, I think, on the chart just left or right. So if you want to change it so that it's zoom in and out, you just do that. And I always put mine to fast. That would explain why it was going so slow before. I was wondering why it was going slow, but there you go. And I believe that's pretty much it as far as the most important things I feel are. You can actually put show title as well, which is pretty cool. It'll put the name in there. As you can see, you can barely see it. So let's do right in the middle. We'll make it much bigger just so that you guys can see it. Okay, okay. And as you can see, the SPY popped up. Let's make it a little bit bigger, actually. 72, just so you guys can see it. There you go. So by putting half here, we'll actually go back to quarter. So it'll be kind of out of the way, and it'll tell you what the current ticker is as well as the current time scale that you're on as well. So real quick, I feel like that's really all you need to know as far as configuring. It's, again, I was kind of all over the place with this, but it's really just like anything else where it's just coming in, reading each of these options and figuring out exactly what it is that you want to do with it. Each one of them, right? It's very customizable. It's very preference heavy, and no matter what I tell you, it's really kind of what you're looking, you know, for as a trader yourself. So another cool thing you can do is, like, once you're in and these studies, you can actually click on any of these and hit open study information page. It'll actually open DOS's help section on that specific study, which is nice. Once you do have them in your chart as well, you can double click them and see what they have to offer in here as well. You can change the colors. Like if I want my red candles to be pink and my green candles to be blue, you could do that as well. I mean, really, it's completely up to you guys how you want to do this. I do want to show you one really cool. I know a lot of people. I was going to say studies. I want to show you a really cool one. Let me find it real quick. Moving average pair. So for anybody that trades moving averages, like say the 9 and the 20. Actually, let's get rid of these. And what you would do is you would add this one. And you guys are really going to like this. And I think because I had set this up before, I have it set up as a simple 9 and a simple 20. I'm going to double click it just to show you. So it's pink and, you know, like a light blue, whatever you want it to be. And it's just set to the 9 and the 20. But what this is going to do is it's going to show an arrow every time the 9 and the 20 cross. So if your strategy is to trade the 9 and the 20 cross, this is actually a really cool study that a lot of people don't know about. And if you notice too, right next to that, it can actually play a sound every time it happens. So you could have like 100 charts up, and if this is your strategy, whenever this happens, it will alert you. If you're just playing a sound, you would obviously have to look for it, but here you go. So as you can see, every time the 9 crossed the 20, whether it's up or down, you can see if it goes up, it's a green arrow. If it goes down, it's a red arrow. It puts it on the chart, and it would make a sound if it happens in real time. I really found that one pretty cool. As I was sitting here scrolling through, that was actually brought up to me by someone else, and just thought that was something I would want to share to you guys, because I found that to be pretty cool. Back in the day, I used to trade moving average crossovers, and I just found that to be really awesome. So that is definitely something that you guys could take advantage of. But other than that, let's see, right click, study config, we did that. Trend lines, I mean, you guys know all about your trend lines. I guess we can go over the top here. You can hover over any of these to see what they are. Here's your time frames, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 60, daily, weekly. If you want to scroll out, and again, I gave you guys that little tip. If you want to scroll out even further, you just got to come over here. It's tough to get it, but once you get it, you just keep clicking, and you can see we can just kind of keep on clicking, and we can go back as far as the stock will allow us to. So we just went back to 2000 on the SPY. You can kind of see the overall market. Again, if we want to get rid of that up there in the top left, just go right click there, get rid of the display study in the top left, commit that, makes it look a little bit cleaner. I really don't like that green that we're looking at, so let's change that to a blue. Let's change the text real quick. Let's get rid of that ugly color. We'll make that blue too. And then, yeah, we gotta change the other one too, right? Oh, we didn't actually commit to it, did we? Let's see, blue, okay. Blue over here as well, okay. We'll hit OK. There we go. We got everything nice and blue and orange. Got this little retro theme going on here. Let's see. Trend lines. I guess if you guys want to know, page down is one that I use the most common. It's actually for the horizontal line. But if you just hit your page down button on your keyboard, you'll see that it gives me this little pencil looking thing. And then you click and it gives you a horizontal chart or horizontal line. If you right click this horizontal line while it has these little things on the side, you can actually modify this. So if you would right click it and hit config, you can actually change it. So if you want it to be a solid line, which I think it is by default, you can change the color of it, say to yellow, which I think this is the default, and you would just hit OK, and you'll see it changes it. And I believe from then on, that is your default. So if you want to go ahead and change that, you just right click and config, and you can change it to whatever you want. And I just like this one because it's a little bit easier on the eyes. And yeah, there you go. You can draw as many as you want. If you want to do those manually, you can come up here. If you want to draw a trend line, say, oh, look at the SPY. It's got a nice little trend line. And then, you know, whatever you want that to do. You got the, you can write little text notes, right? Do that. Oops, I don't really use these, so I don't know. Oh, there you go. So you got to click it. I'm not exactly sure how to use those, but they're there if you want to figure it out. Oh, did I just do it? Maybe you got to actually config it after you do it. Let's see. Right click, config. There we go. High. Price is too high. See if it actually changes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So then you could drag that wherever you want. That's a nice little feature if you're trying to explain something to somebody, or maybe write up a chart to show to a group of people. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, vertical lines. If you want to try to measure it up with the bottom of the chart. You got rectangles. I've used these before. Just kind of, if some guys will want to show supply zones. So you can be like, there's a supply zone. You can move this one and be like, and then we're looking for it to move up to this supply zone kind of thing. Let's see what else we got. Fibonacci's. You can go from the bottom of the move to the top of the move kind of thing, right? So then you got the 50% move there. I know some people draw these completely different. You got top to the bottom, but they're pretty much the same thing as long as you keep the same. I mean, if you're 61.8 and your 20s and stuff might be a little bit different. You can do the line extension as well, which I know a lot of people do. In order to make this one work, you have to click once, let go, click again once you get to where you want it to be. Or maybe you got to drag it, sorry. So click up here, and then you're going to hold it down. So click and hold, and then you're going to go to the top and then let go. And then you're going to and so right now I'm not clicking anything or holding anything. You're going to come back down to the bottom of the move, which let's say right there. and then you're going to click one more time, and there you go. So now you have your actual fib extension lines that a lot of people love to look for. So 100% would be there, 150 would be up there, all those good things. So I believe that's pretty much it. Let's remove all the lines. See if there's anything else. Chart area. So here is where, like I had said, you have the volume. If you wanted to do something like add the MACD down there as well, let's hit add new area after. So the reason it added this one, let's see if I can actually get rid of this one, remove area. So if we want to put the MACD, say, below the volume, I know a lot of people like the MACD, so that's why I'm just using that. But we would hit add new area after, and we could, again, kind of do this if it lets us. DOS can be very finicky sometimes with, like, when you're moving, like trying to do that, like with that. I feel like this little arrow over here to extend the chart should be a little bit bigger myself, but hey. So now we have a new area completely. You can right click. Let's go to study config and find the MACD, which is right here. I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to leave it as default. And there you go. So you could add an area. You could give yourself the MACD if you want. And you can do this as many times as you want. So say you want another one underneath there. You could go to chart area, add new area after or before, depending on where you want it. And say you want the MACD above the volume, just hit move up. Say, oh, nope, I don't want it there. Let's move it back down. And there you go. So let's add one above this. Let's go to study config. It's another one that people use, RSI. RSI, where are you at? I feel like I probably passed it. ROC, CCI, where's RSI? There it is. All right, we're just going to leave that the way that it is. We'll make it a little bit smaller, and there you go. So there's so many different things you can do with these charts, guys. It's really just a matter of right-clicking and kind of going to configure, chart area, config area, or any of these in here, and just kind of messing around with it. It really is that simple. There's a lot of cool things. Like I said, if you have any questions about any of the studies that go on the chart, you can ask me if you want, and I'll definitely do my research for you. But if you just click on it and then hit this open study information page, it will go ahead and show you everything that you need to know in there. It'll just bring up DOS's website and show you. So, but I believe this should give you a good general understanding of how everything works. Again, if you think I missed anything, feel free to ask me down below in the comment section, or just find me in Discord or Twitter, and we'll go from there. But if you like what you're seeing, hit that like button. If you are new here and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I always appreciate the support. If you do, again, have any questions or comments, leave them down below or find me elsewhere. Twitter or Discord are usually the two best options. And I will see you guys in the next one. Not sure what we're going to do for the next DOS tutorial, but I'm going to find something, and it's going to be good. So I'll catch you then. Peace.